Ladies and gentlemen, we have cleared the laboratory first sector before in our initial video, but now it's gonna be time for us to clear the entirety of the laboratory because this has literally been one of the big focuses of the update, and as such, we want to make sure to do it a little bit of justice. So as always, we're gonna be starting off with our favorite agility perk, and then we're gonna be smoking some spore runners. And I mean, we've seen a lot of what this sector already has to offer, so we will definitely be picking up all of these cards because again, no longer are you actually turning in these cards for like chests or anything like that. Now you are actually turning in these cards for reputation points in like the new reputation pass type system. Now I am curious if we are going to encounter any sort of like new zombies and stuff like that. We have also brought a ROBODOG in case we start running. Oh, hello, Spore Giant. You got a lot of health, don't you? And you seem to have infected me a little bit. That's rather rude, especially because I kind of forgot to bring the inhalers and stuff. But we'll continue clearing out through these folks and seeing what challenges await us, especially in the later sectors, because ultimately that's kind of where the most interesting things are going to be happening. But let's make sure to open up all of these side doors that are going to be having. Oh, okay, so we still got the spitters that be spitting and doing damage. All right, they've never left, and I'm actually slowly continuing to accumulate spore because I am not wearing the correct armor for the laboratory. That would be a boo-boo. A boo-boo that would be. Okay, we got the proper armor. We are also, of course, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, rocking the brand new outfit that for the low cost of 2,000 genome you can get your hands upon. And well, we're rocking it, we're showing it off, and unfortunately, I don't really have the genome right now to get the corresponding backpack, but that's all right because we are wearing a corresponding different Genesis backpack that I actually think also fits really well with it. So I just look like a Genesis shill right now. So you know, I'm just spreading a little bit of Genesis propaganda. You know, Citizen K would be very proud of us over here. But let's go ahead and crack open. Ooh, baby! That's actually a lot of stuff out of that chest. I am not going to be grabbing the bow because I really do not need a bow that badly. But I am also curious because, yeah, the Shambler, Rambler, Bow Bambler. Here's the thing, we still do full damage to the guy even before shooting off his arm, so that is definitely one thing that has changed about the Shambler. You no longer need to shoot off his arm in order to be doing full damage to the guy. And okay, I gotta be careful here to lure all of these folks over and not collect too much or accumulate too much of the spore toxicity stuff. Oh no, oh, we definitely do not want to get caught inside of that spew that guy's leaving behind, although it is a little bit different from what those guys leave behind. Hello, ROBODOG. Oh, here's another thing as well, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure we can store items in our ROBODOG. Like, I think its energy, and I'm gonna test this by just throwing our armor into there. I think its energy only goes down when it's actively carrying something on its back. So if you do have the ROBODOG and you're not doing stuff inside of the new, like, swamp zones, it essentially might act as like a free chest that follows you around. I am very interested in this future and I would like to invest in this future, and that is exactly what we are doing. And I'm about to be cornered by this stinky spore giant, but that is okay. We got things taken care of right in the nick of time. All is good. And yeah, the ROBODOG his health is not going down. We're doing a-okay. Oh no, 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 no. Okay, that guy's gonna spore us a little bit, but I'm not too scared about it. Because like, it's not an instant thing, you know? That's another thing that I think has changed about in the laboratory for the better from like a balance perspective for players, is that your maximum health, it does not immediately start to tick down until you are like into the thick of it, you know? Like you're not gonna start feeling the adverse side effects of stuff for quite a while until you accumulate a lot of stuff here. And why don't we activate, dude? Freaking bring down the drone. Let's have the drone do a little bit of fun, especially when we are dealing with big groups of enemies here, because our drone is quite capable, even though it does not have the anti-spore weaponry or attachment of any sort. It is still able to do quite a bit of damage to these schmucks running up around us. Because I mean, here's the thing, even if you don't have the right weaponry so you know, be rolling through here, you can still do solid damage with just like, you know, a regular like your regular weapons. Okay, now I say solid because like it's not a lot, right? Like you guys can see our shotgun here is doing 31 damage. It's like a little bit under half probably. It definitely could be higher. We're also gonna be bringing this guy back down, and Mr. Drone, continue doing your thing while I wait for a little bit of breathing room so I can swap back into a weapon that actually does do full damage. So I will say, I don't think it's recommended that you do these runs unless you do have the proper weaponry, because you know, your regular weapons are better off durability-wise, efficiency-wise, better off spent in other areas, just because you're not going to be getting the maximum bang for your buck. So to me, it seems like the laboratory runs are essentially kind of going to be like, you got to save up like your spore weapons for them, type of thing. Now, here's another thing that I'm curious about. Check it out. That's another thing that changed. So I didn't actually check this. I just followed along with the quest last time, but you are actually forced to clear the boss before you can move on. That has most definitely changed. That was not the case. This was always an optional boss. Now, not so optional. So we gotta go here and clear him out. What up, Necrotic Hybrid? How you doing? Unfortunately, or I should say fortunately, not, I mean, he's still, you got the anti-spore rifle. You're able to do a lot of damage to this guy very quickly. Now, another thing that I really am curious about is if they continue having this protection once you activate hard mode. Because honestly, with just the spore rifles, I can probably just one-shot in here, yeah, before anything too bad goes down. And I mean, we literally just cleared him pretty easily. Now, the Necrotic Hybrid has always been a lot harder in hard mode, but something that always made him so difficult in hard mode was that you had to use armor-piercing weapons. And armor-piercing weapons, the best ones, you had to worry about recoil and you had to pace your shots, whereas the best anti-spore weapons are like the anti-spore rifle and the anti-spore sniper rifle, although personally I kind of prefer the, like, I don't know, like, I actually think the anti-spore rifle is better than the anti-spore sniper, just because this one does 60% more damage, but this one literally shoots twice as fast. And I kind of prefer the speed, especially because like the anti-spore sniper rifle, it's got like a wind up, you know, like after I press fire, I still gotta wait like a solid second. There's like a slight delay in between when I shoot. It's not instant versus the anti-spore rifle, which actually is instant, and as such, you know, kind of ends up being quite nifty in that regard. But anyways, you guys are all taken care of. Let's go and take this down. We still gotta open up all the pass rooms and stuff, so we will be doubling back for those, but I do want to make sure that we got these guys ready to go. And then again, you don't have to be as worried about all the spores because they don't immediately start ticking down your maximum health, and that was like such a punitive thing about them in the old laboratory that now is like, you know, I don't mind walking through like clouds of spore dust because I'm not gonna immediately start losing my health, versus before, if you even touch a little bit of spore in the old laboratory, like, I mean, it was bad. You'd immediately lose, like, not immediately, but you would immediately be guaranteed that you would lose 20 maximum health over time. Also, another thing that I noticed, dude, this room up here that I just opened into, like the final room in this sector, actually has like so many zombies, it's kind of crazy. I am like low-key shocked by the amount of zombies and just like red dots that I'd be seeing in here. Also, that is not the correct weapon. I don't know why it went to you. Let's definitely stick to anti-spore weapons, but I will definitely be picking up all these guys because so far in Sector A, you know, I mean, ballpark, we already got like 35 here. Once we clear out the rest of the chests, you've usually gotten about, give or take, 50 of the key card A's. But I mean, we're only at 35 and we only have a couple more zombies to take down. So I wonder if like maybe key cards are like ever so slightly a little bit more rare, potentially. I'm not sure. Let's open a U up though. And we got the 3 last zombies that we got to clear out to get to the final chest. And then Sector A1 is completed with, I mean, what have we burned through? 2 anti-spore rifles, give or take? Like, that's a pretty good ballpark kind of thing. I got a feeling that most of these sectors will be 2 to 3 spore rifles, at least on regular mode. Now, obviously, hard mode, dude, it depends, man. Like, I really do wonder if they are, we gotta get the pass perk first to go to here, but I really do wonder if they're gonna do the thing where, like, you have to freaking, you know, use armor-piercing weapons again. Because if we can stick to the anti-spore weapons, I think hard mode is not gonna be as hard as it used to be. Now, what perk to take? Okay, I say we go with this Yeah, I'll probably get the pass perk in the last sector because realistically speaking, if you're gonna get the pass perk, you should always do it in the last sector that you clear because you can retroactively go back and use it in previous sectors. And you want it earlier sectors kind of focus on things that, you know, will actually help you in all the sectors. And New Rules is gonna deactivate all the traps in the laboratory and do damage to zombies near them, which is very good because especially in sector B1 and B2, you do start to run into some like slightly annoying traps, so I'll definitely do that. But sector A2, how do you do? Who do we got over here? Infected lab assistant, spore runner. I mean, so far, so bland. I have not seen any new interesting zombies. Where are the acid melters? Where are the toxic spewers? Are they no longer here? Because if so, that would mean that, I mean, unequivocally, they have removed some of the more difficult and more annoying zombies. Also, wait, shamblers used to not exist in the laboratory. That is new. Or, no, that's not what I meant. They definitely exist in the laboratory. The laboratory sector A2, the shamblers did not used to exist. But now they do, interestingly enough. And it appears like the shamblers might just be kind of like the big kind of like special zombie you could run into here because that's the only special zombie outside of like the spore giant that we have run into. Everything so far is looking, you know, slightly vanilla. And I guess, okay, yeah, spore giant. I think there's one other of the larger ones, probably the one that like blows up, that drops some interesting stuff. But otherwise, man, I don't know. It's nothing too crazy. This is by far and away quite manageable. This might be yet again another sector that has gotten easier. Also, since when do cut fingers spawn into here? That I think is also new. Correct me if I'm wrong. I do not ever remember, you know, finding some fingers around these parts. I believe that to be a new development. But yeah, anti-spore rifle is gonna be your best friend if you are planning on laboratory runs. And for those of y'all who do not yet have the ATV, I do believe laboratory runs are going to be quite important for you guys because, I mean, this is going to be one of the ways that you're going to be able to get ATV transmissions because I believe it was one of the things you could get in like the in the new Genesis store. So it's going to be something that you want to do. I also don't need to shoot the parasites. I just need to like touch them and they'll blow up. I don't know why I keep doing it. I'm just so used to shooting zombies, man. You know, it's in my blood. It's in my nature. I've seen a lot of fingers only in Bunker Alpha. Yeah, I mean, previously I've only ever seen fingers in the event, like the crashed convoy event or whatever you would call it. Also the rubber hose, dude. We're finding settlement items in here as well, so it almost seems like not only does this kind of help you build your ATV to unlock the Boggy region, but it's also going to help you like develop your settlement kind of. I also just got so much experience. I imagine that also the toxic darters have been a little bit nerfed, I think, because when that guy hit me, dude, those things used to do, if I'm not mistaken, like 40 damage? Or am I getting that mixed up with the darters at like the transport hub? It has been a little bit, I apologize, a little bit of a while since my last laboratory run. It's not something that we were often doing. But, that also does make me wonder if they're still gonna be having the events as well. Okay, that's gonna be another thing to keep your eyes upon because remember, there were always events for the laboratory that would make them like drop guaranteed carbon composites, you know, and what was it, factory parts, I believe. If those are still gonna be a thing, because I mean, those have always been the most efficient time. Also, the ROBODOG still has not burned any energy, so I believe, at least at the time of me having early access to the update, you know, things are subject to change by the time that the final update does come out. I do have to reiterate that. But at the time being, dude, it seems like the ROBODOG is a guaranteed, just like, it's like a chest that follows you around. It is literally a storage chest on wheels, you know. And once you get to the swamp zones, as we showed off in our previous video, he can literally carry crates back, which is very nice because he does it a lot faster than you do. Honestly, it's kind of a convenience thing. Now, I gotta imagine, yeah, we got some very dead things here because that perk that we activated, literally just electrocutes like everything in this room, which is very nice. But so far, so yeah, I think our theory is holding. dude, there might only be these types of zombies so far that we've encountered, unless there's gonna be like entirely new ones. Okay, this room also all of a sudden has like a lot of zombies, but so far it's spore giants and toxic darters, the new spore toxic darters, infected lab assistants, which you can one-shot. You got the Shambler, Rambler, Bobambler, and then you got these runners, the spore runners. I literally think that, plus the spore giant, plus the bigger zombie that blows up, I think that literally encompasses all of the zombies that you can run into. Oh, speaking of zombies you can run into, I gotta open up this side door because I like never open up this side door. Also, speaking of never opening up this side door, am I crazy, or did they actually add a chest into that room? They may have added a chest into that room, because I vividly remember like so strongly never opening that room before, or I've opened it before, but then never opening it again because there was like no purpose and like no chests would ever spawn into that room. But I do think that might have just changed, because I saw the reason I decided to open that room is A, that we're clearing out the new laboratory for the first time, but B, I also noticed that there's a chest peeking out from the corner. Oh wow, that infected lab assistant was on a mission, dude. Took him like 10 minutes to get to us. But no, I noticed this little thing in here. I do not believe that was there before. Anything interesting? I mean, you know, a couple of these guys. Oh, and then obviously at the end of this run, I am curious vaguely how many levels we're gonna get for turning in a full laboratory run worth of loot. Because I also gotta imagine that, I believe, you know, we've already done the laboratory previously, so we already have hard mode unlocked, but I do still believe it is the case that if you do want to unlock hard mode, you do need to fully clear the laboratory once, you know, the final B2 boss in normal mode before hard mode can be active. So I do think that's still a thing. But man, it's gotten easier. It has gotten easier. Just, I guess the one annoying thing is you need freaking spore weapons. Very, very specifically, you need spore weapons. Hey, we got an achievement. Nice. I am also curious, once we activate the pass perk at the last sector, because I believe that is when we're gonna do it, what the pass rooms have as well. But yeah, I mean, it literally does appear like there is just so many chests everywhere now, because previously there would be like, you know, there was, I want to say there'd be many locations that chests could possibly spawn, but only like 2 of them would spawn. Now it literally seems like chests spawn in every single location that they previously only would have a chance of spawning at, because I have opened so many more chests. And again, we still got to see what the past chests have. Definitely want to see what's inside of those. But so far, man, a lot of reputation items. We're going to be able to turn in a lot and get a lot of reputation, which is good. A couple of quick shots here, and then we got this boss. Now this boss, the interesting thing, there is a blueprint for the drone. I don't believe I have it. I would have to double check, and even then I don't have it equipped. But essentially lets you one-shot very specifically this boss. Dude, why do I feel like I actually do have it and I have built it? Because I feel like I was amazed by the fact that I used it before. I gotta check. Probably when we come back for hard mode, because this boss is actually really annoying in hard mode. Is the ability to like one-shot you pretty much. But yeah, we got I might need some more weapons. Because yeah, I mean, so far, up until this point, I think we've burnt through like 5 spore rifles, maybe 4 or 5. I'll say 5 conservatively. Plus we're probably gonna burn through this one in the boss battle. It's, on average, it kind of seems like you need 3 spore rifles per sector is kind of gonna be like a safe number, I would say, especially if you want to clear out everything. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for the Sector A2 boss. What up? It's the big boss, Rick Ross, in a giant robotic mechanical suit. Hello, Carillon, how do you do? You, ow, still do a lot of damage, ow. So I gotta be worried about that, but this is not hard mode, so I don't have to be as worried. You're gonna go and like punch some stuff over there, so while you do that, I'm gonna continue shooting you. We just gotta be careful that, you know, we do not get electrocuted in those things that he is doing. We do not want to walk through the electricity. We just want to continue pumping you full of 50 bullet damage at a time. And easy peasy lemon squeezy goodbye to the Carillon. That was not bad at all. Again, the anti-spore rifle just absolutely melts these bosses. Like, I cannot overstate how big it is that you do not need to use freaking like armor-piercing weapons. The anti-spore rifle just melts all of these zombies. But yeah, in hard mode, this is gonna be much more difficult because like the wires get electrocuted on the ground. You can get electrocuted doing that. And he's just kind of a meaner guy. But we'll be back for that. That's the first 2 sectors done and away with. I gotta fill up the bioreactor a little bit, which is exactly what we will do. And also, let's take this opportunity to go and fill up not just the bioreactor, but also let's turn in our reputation, make a little bit of inventory room, and then come back. Anyways, we're up here. We are at level 6, you know, 310 out of 330. Why don't we go and turn in all of that, all of that, all of that, all of that, and all of that. We've gotten up to level 11. We just got 5 levels from that, and these levels continue to get more and more expensive. So it's a decent benchmark. First 2 sectors got us from level 6 to level 11. The exact numbers on that, I'm not sure, but we do have vaguely those numbers over there. And anything cool we get from Ava along the way? Those inhalers might come in handy, actually, but just more Genesis credits and stuff, which we will then, of course, be able to utilize inside of the store. Again, one of the big things being ATV transmissions. This is gonna be, I literally think, and also the car batteries. This is gonna be the de facto store for building your ATV, which is the reason why there's literally a chapter dedicated to it in the ATV Swamp Region update. It's essentially really trying to tell you, hey, this is where you're gonna build your ATV if you don't have it built yet. There's a reason you gotta do this chapter first before you move on to the Boggy Region. All right, YOLO. We're going all in, baby. All right, because YOLO, that's why. Immunity to all negative effects, but your body will not be saved after dying. Why not? I don't plan on dying. Which also means I'm probably gonna die in the dumbest fashion possible, but you know what? It'll be fun. You guys are gonna kick out of it, and yo, check it out, okay! No longer are anti-spore weapons prescribed here. I am not at all ready to kill you. I did not come prepared with it. I might need to go grab some fire weapons. Be right back. Okay, Sector B1, you need fire weapons. You need fire weapons. Yes, you do. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I've been jump scared, all right? You got me. You got me. You got me, game. I was not expecting that. So fire weapons are the thing you gotta worry about inside of Sector B1. And I've come with fire weapons. Which, I mean, kind of makes sense. The theme of this has always been, and the boss also. The boss does have a theme relating to fire and kind of just being frozen. But yeah, you gotta, I guess the laboratory is gonna require all sorts of weapons if you want to clear it out, which is kind of interesting. Definitely a little bit on the interesting side. But let's start clearing this out, and then that does make me curious what we are gonna see inside of the last sector. I also am running low on inventory room, so I might have to come back for like the bottle caps and stuff. I want to prioritize the reputations that we can turn in, just so we can get the most bang for our buck with those, and turning them in and just showing off how much we get for that. But zombie-wise, I mean, it's just a couple of frozen zombies. Nothing super interesting so far. Nope, I don't want the ROBODOG, I want the loot. I mean, there's always a chance of some sorts of new zombies making appearances. But for now, it just seems like you got frozen walkers, frozen runners, frozen giants. And that might be it, because I don't think there's like a frozen spewer or a frozen spitter type of zombie that you gotta worry about. Also, we still gotta have some fun with the turrets, because listen, if we got turrets to use, we're gonna utilize them. Specifically, I think when we gotta fight this boss, that'll be a good one, especially because the boss kind of starts out slow and then picks up speed. I think this will actually be a very good boss to test the turrets out upon. Although I also imagine that the boss is going to require fire damage, at least for the first phase of the boss battle, because I do believe this boss has 2 phases. And now the revamped version, previously, the first phase always required, oh beautiful, people are dying next door. the first phase always used to require armor-piercing weapons. I feel like the first phase might require fire weapons, and then maybe the second phase requires none? Maybe? I don't know. Yeah, there's where everyone died. There's the frozen bloater. Have we seen a frozen giant yet, or has it just been frozen bloaters? At a glance, I haven't been paying super specific attention because they're both just large frozen zombies. But we can take some of that there. And obviously, okay, we got the crawlers. Yeah, I mean, the crawlers, frozen fast biter. It's not like the toxic spewers that used to come out of here. The toxic spewers are completely gone. The bags of meat that stab you with their meatsicles are definitely still here, though. We do need to worry about the meat bags. I also hope I have enough fire weapons to clear this place out, because we have burned through our first scorcher. So just something to be aware of upon that front. A little bit of you, a little bit of you. I might end up leaving the fingers behind also to make room for more stuff, but for now I'll keep the fingers. The fingers can stay. Also, shotgun rain! Oh, what the heck? How did you survive, Mr. Frozen Fastbiter? Well, okay, you should burn to death slowly. There you go, beautiful. Because this shotgun is perfectly built to take you down. And it's just so fun, dude. It's like a fully automatic shotgun, like, come on. And I can only use it on frozen zombies. And this is now a new place to encounter and use the shotgun. And yeah, I do think that that boss, you know, if the Sector A1 boss used to be optional, now is required, I gotta imagine that it's gonna be the same thing here. And this formerly optional boss will now be required, so I guess that is like one big change that has come to the laboratory. No more optional bosses. Bosses are only required from here on out. But I do want to save, I don't want to burn all of my shotgun. Oh, that's a new one. We got a Wendigo. Okay, a little bit of a mini boss. Unless this is kind of like the equivalent of the Rambler, Shambler, Bobambler making an appearance. But yeah, we got the Wendigo who has a lot of health. There's only one. Brother, what? You should be in a Christmas event. Why are you here? Okay, it's not Christmas. Is this where you just hide the rest of the year until it's Christmas time and then you make an appearance at the rest of the game? What the heck? So, okay, you got Wendigos to worry about. That's an interesting zombie. That is completely out of left field. I don't think any of us expected that. Another frozen bloater. Again, not sure if I've seen any frost giants or not. But down goes he. And if I'm not mistaken, that door to the right is not gonna open, and we're going to have to clear out the following room. Yeah, we gotta neutralize the threat in this sector. So let's open up that door. Let's make sure that we got our weapons good to go. And man, I don't know, maybe why don't we just try to like slap a turret down before we get in too deep here? Can't be placed here. What about here? What about here? There we go. Yeah, don't mind me, Mr. Boss. I'm just putting a turret down. Beautiful. And then he's gonna do his thing. And yeah, we just got to do. He's gonna continue thawing out zombies out of the ice, by the way. At some point, he will, I believe, thaw out of his own ice. And he actually, dude, actually the best thing that I love about the turrets, they essentially, oh no, that's a big hit. Yeah, okay, so I think he has officially thawed out. Okay, but he still has his freaking cold. You still have to use fire weapons on this boss. He also just completely obliterated my turret. So that turret is now gone. I probably should not have brought a level 3 turret because that dude died. That dude died very quickly. I might have been better off just bringing a level 1 to be a glorified meat shield, but Goodbye, Mr. Icebreaker. Oh, and dude, I also got 140 of the, I think actually every zombie kill is also slowly giving us points as well. Because I noticed specifically killing the boss gave us 140, which is not bad at all. Also, I feel like he used to sometimes drop like the big red propane tank, fuel tank, unless I'm mistaken, but it seems like he didn't that time. Regardless, there you go. There you got him. This entire room's dead. Again, the power of the perks, man. You get some good perks. They got a nice little kick to them. And the one that deactivates all the traps and damages zombie near the traps, it's just free kills here and there. But okay, so what have we burnt through so far? I believe we've burnt through one Scorcher and one Apocalypse Breath, and we'll probably have to burn through this one. Okay, here we do have a Frozen Giant. First time we've encountered him in this sector, but down he goes. And then one more room, and we should be in the clear. Also, I'm not freezing. Another thing, this enhanced anti-spore armor is actually doing just fine in this sector, which is a pleasant surprise. I actually didn't notice that, but I mean, you know, initially when we came here, we had to switch armor for the first sector. So maybe this armor is like just good enough. But all right, ladies and gentlemen. With that, it is time for the final sector. And I have no idea. I don't think it's gonna be a cold sector. So it's either gonna be spore or we're gonna have to do like armor piercing because that's like the only other condition we really have. And what we are gonna wanna go for is going to be, ooh, the short circuit is kinda nifty, but I really want the perk for the pass. We've got our hands on the pass perk. We will have to double back to find all of the rooms that do give stuff to us. And okay, so this sector appears like it continues with its hard mode roots. Actually, we need armor piercing weapons for this sector. Good thing I brought exactly 2 of them. We might need more than that. So if you want to do a full run, it's gonna be a lot. Oh, yo, you know, we need a protector. We got our hands on some protectors. And these are going to be awesome for this sector because there's a lot of groups of zombies. And again, reminder, the protector has changed in this update. The protector literally has built-in area of effect. Okay, it's actually not, unfortunately. I thought these guys would be like grouped up a lot more. But like ballpark so far, yeah, it's been like 3 guns per sector, maybe 4 should suffice. Although I gotta say, this sector's definitely the hardest because the armor piercing weapons don't do like bonus damage like some of their counterparts. Oh, and the acid melt just made an appearance. All the zombies from the old laboratory have congregated. And they're here! Oh no, I hate it here, dude. This sector actually sucks. Okay. Like, legitimately, the meta might just be farming the first 2 sectors with the spore weapons because the spore weapons, I mean, are just ridiculously powerful, I think. Versus here, these weapons. Bro, I don't know, shotgun rain. Although, I will say, the protector, very nifty. Once you start getting big groups congregating around you. But man, I've kind of been jump scared by these acid melters appearing. Although, I don't know, am I crazy or did they used to melt my armor way faster? Hello, Exploder, how you doing? I imagine you're gonna be exploding soon. Okay, I gotta say, I was saying, you know, it's probably like 3, maybe 4 guns a sector. Brother, this sector might be the exception to that rule. This sector requires, yeah, I don't know. I'm already halfway through a neutralizer. We're what, 2 rooms in essentially? I don't know, man. The difficulty went from like, you know, it just jumped straight up off the charts. We're in trouble. We do got some dead people in here. We like dead people, dead people. Oh no, not you! We got the annoying people coming up. Dude, okay, so like literally, I will say this. I think every sector has gotten easier, except Sector B2. For some reason, they just said, you know what? Normal mode Sector B2, let's just be as annoying as possible. Because, oh my goodness, oh my lord. Brother, this is normal mode. You used to have to activate hard mode before you ran into zombies like this. Which makes me curious, what the heck does hard mode look like on this level? How can this get harder? This is what hard mode used to do anyway. It used to throw armor on these guys. Now they already have armor in regular mode. What does hard mode do? It's also the exact same mix of zombies from the old laboratory. Frankly, I'm terrified of what hard mode might contain. And loot-wise, dude, here's the thing. You also, like, don't need to do hard mode to progress, right? Like, technically, you could grind your way up to an ATV without once touching hard mode. I think that's gonna be the meta. I think that's gonna be the most efficient way. Those anti-spore rifles are just going to be the move. And you're just gonna use them for the first 2 sectors? You know, maybe, you know, if you want, maybe. Do a little bit of the 3rd sector if you got some fire weapons to spare. Slight, like, I don't know, I feel like the fire weapons take a little bit longer to kill, but the spore weapons just melt zombies, man. Okay, we got a big old group here. Why don't we get the resonator up in here? I also have to worry about freaking, actually, do I have to worry about, yeah, I mean, I still have to worry about recoil. That didn't go anywhere. Although, man, I don't know, does it, maybe I'm going crazy. I feel like the acid melters might have gotten slightly nerfed. I swear they used to like obliterate your armor like no one's business. And now it's like, I mean, it goes down, but it doesn't go down like a wild amount. Also, yeah, the annoying thing about this sector and the weapons you have to use is just that like these weapons have recoil, unlike every other freaking sector. Sector A1, A2, and B1. All those weapons are recoilless. All of a sudden you get to B2 and it's like, hey, recoil's a thing. Have fun. Good luck, have fun. Wow, everyone's dead in this room. That's nice. But again, case in point, if you have the right perks, it makes your life easier in some ways. I think this is one of those ways. Hello, Juggernaut. And yeah, then, you know what? Also in this video, we won't clear all of the hard mode because that would make this video twice as long, but I do want to at least activate hard mode and see what the first sector looks like. Because I feel like what could they possibly do? What does hard mode do? How does it get harder? Because it used to just be that it would slap the armor piercing necessities on. What does it do now? Do they just have like twice as much health or something? But yeah, on the bright side, it really does feel like the acid melter has gotten nerfed. I'm very happy about that because, and also, yo, the toxic spewer, that guy only had like 200 health. Back in the old update, he would have like 600 health. So that has also gone down quite a bit. We like that. We like that around these parts. I mean, nothing like extraordinary out of the pass perk here. Oh, we also got to double back and check what all the pass perk rooms have. I also forgot a chest here. One of those annoying zombies was protecting. Let's see what you got. Ooh, some decent stuff. I'm glad I went back for that. Although now, I'm stinky. I don't like being stinky around these parts. But luckily, it doesn't really matter. We're not really sneak attacking much in the ways of this room anyway. We're going in guns a-blazing. And, oh, interesting. There used to always be like a gas zombie that would spawn in that room. Or is it the next room? I don't particularly remember. Shotgun rain, some stay dry while zombies feel the pain. Shotgun rain. Gosh, I love that thing. The new protector. Can we just do that for all shotguns last day on Earth? Like, please? Just built in like that, you know? And then you could maybe, you know, keep the shotgun spread here because it's like super wide, but at least have like all shotguns have like the narrow spread like the protector. I think that'd be a pretty cool middle ground, you know? I also am down to just protectors, so we're gonna be using a lot of those. And the thing about the protector, I think it's a good trade-off because like, it does take a second to fire anyways. Also, the beautiful thing about the perk we activated, it murdered everything in this room and there's not laser beams trying to shoot me. Gosh, I love it. And we got a couple of zombies here. Somehow, my area of effect actually got none of them. You also gotta be careful because like, your guy doesn't follow them. So if they're fast enough of a zombie and you're using the protector, you can actually end up shooting them where they were and not where they're going. So kind of something to keep in mind. Let's make our way back over yonder. And I believe the next room, if I'm not mistaken, is gonna be leading us to the turrets. Okay. Wait, is this where the gas room is? No. Dude, there definitely used to be a room with like a gas zombie and I'm just not seeing it. And please go away, acid melter. I'm not as mad because yeah, dude, there's 100% had to have gotten nerfed. There's no shot that our armor would hold up this well. Absolutely 0% chance. And I do believe the turrets have also been deactivated thanks to that perk that we activated. Very good, very good. I like not having to shoot turrets. We're gonna have a couple of zombies coming up this way. We're just gonna try to honestly clog them in the doorway here. Dude, that's the move with the protector. The shotgun rain and the shotgun, like the perk on the original shotgun, a little bit easier because it's like such a wide cone. But this cone is a little bit more narrow, so I feel like you just kind of gotta like lure zombies into areas where it's like gonna be a lot harder for them to get out of the way. And then I will definitely have to grab another gun for the boss because I'm not gonna be using the protector to fight that boss. There's no way. But also it could be, my sources are telling me, due to the all-in perk that I have activated. I don't know, it's possible. So your mileage may vary. Word of warning there. It may be just the placebo effect, and the acid melters actually do bring great pain upon you and your families. I will have to sanity check that when I don't have the perk active, just in case. Because I guess that does correspond, our first acid melters we ran into with that perk being active. So be careful, don't go hugging your local acid melter quite yet. Kind of still have to confirm that slightly more. Okay, no, toxic spewer, back it up, my boy. Back it up. But I mean, dude, I still feel the effects. Like, even though I do have the all-in perk, like when that guy hits me, I still like slow down. So I don't think all-in necessarily removes like those effects. I think all-in like, bro, I don't know. I don't know how selective it is. That is a very good question as to the scope of the all-in perk. But now, a very good question of the boss battle that awaits us. Oh, and the music's getting juicy. But all right. Also, just really quick to showcase the all-in perk. You guys remember previously in Sector A1, we were accumulating like spores, you know, because we didn't have the right armor on. I'm pretty sure that all-in perk that, you know, does negate some negative effects, I'm pretty sure it will negate like all of like that accumulation that you might have to suffer from, because I'm butt naked. I got 0 protection against the elements. I'm doing just fine. Now, another thing to keep in mind with this boss, if this entire sector has been a precursor to the boss, it means that even in normal mode, this boss will have armor. Previously, that was not the case. So I actually think this boss has also gotten significantly harder from that perspective as well. I also have a turret that I'm gonna throw down for fun. And we're gonna see if that like distracts the boss and stuff, because that seems to also be a common theme. So without further ado, wish me luck. No. Okay, I'm putting a turret down. There we go. And he's gonna be making an appearance, and he's gonna come and shamack me. And he's actually gonna be focusing entirely on that turret. Now, the health of that turret is getting obliterated, which means this is a great opportunity for me to do a lot of damage to the guy. And that, we still gotta worry about those freaking elevators coming up and these zombies coming up. Oh, no. I do want to try to keep a close eye onto this right side, especially anytime like I might get stunned, because yeah, we just do not want to walk into the giant electrical streams. But this boss does have armor confirmed, but that is not, oh no. I was gonna start getting cocky and be like, that's not gonna be enough to stop me, but there's still a chance, because if I get stunned in the wrong elevator, we might be cooked. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, say hello to my little friend! Goodbye! Blight Mark 8 and your scientist little henchman. Hello. You smell that? Sweet victory, baby! Woo! That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. We got a bunch of those items, and there you have it. Now, in hard mode, I do know the mechanics of the bosses get harder in hard mode, for sure. So like, for example, with this boss, like 2 elevators can come up at the same time. You know, like the boss earlier with the electrical wires that I was talking about. I mean, that gets difficult for like a whole different reason. Like you gotta start worrying about, you know, tripping the electricity and like dying and stuff. But the turret, dude, I gotta say, even just like the power of the turrets cannot be overstated. And even just doing the Boggy region and unlocking the T1 turrets and crafting up a ton of those is going to have so much value because I actually think some of the most valuable parts of the turret aren't even the damage it does. It's the fact that it's a glorified distraction. It is so powerful for that reason alone. Like, I cannot overstate it. Now, this isn't necessarily the finalized recipe. Again, we are playing a test version of the update, so this might get updated, but this isn't too expensive, man. I mean, you can get a ton of electronic circuits from raids. Gun oil isn't like incredibly hard to come across, and antimony just means you gotta actually grind the boggy regions a little bit. But, you know, kind of just make it worthwhile. I mean, the better turrets get more expensive and whatnot, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I really like the turrets for that angle, and I think they're gonna be immensely valuable. Now, let's double back because we gotta go see what the past perks have got. But all right, our first past perk, let's open you up, and ooh, I require a weapon for dealing with these guys. 3 zombies in here, and they were protecting 2 chests, so I actually think the past perk is quite worthwhile in this room as well. Now again, bang for your buck wise, I literally think the move, it's a bit of a bummer there, not that great, but I think the move, if you just want the most efficient bang for your buck without having to like use the most resources, and especially I think sector B2 is like not worth it at all unless you just really wanted unlock hard mode. And I mean, we'll show off a sneak peek of what hard mode does contain as well. I think just clearing out sector A1, sector A2, sector A1 you get the agility perk if possible, sector A2 you get the pass perk, and I think that will get you kind of the best bang for your buck for like loot. You get to use arguably the best weapons, because again, just the anti-spore weapons melt. But also, let me know what you guys think. I'm very, very curious, obviously, about what the people, what the community believes of this as well. But a few shots into the spore giant, and down he goes. And what chest were you protecting, my good sir? Anything worthwhile? You know what? Maybe the pass perk isn't even worth stressing about. It used to be guaranteed good loot. I just got 2 cans of beans. All right, in the final pass room, only 1 chest inside of here, but actually after what we got out of that last one, I'm like not particularly hopeful. I am actually worried, if anything, that this is gonna be some garbage loot. And 2 water bottles? Brother, this better change in the final version because the pass perk actually just got a crazy nerf if that's the case. Again, I can't confirm that this will be the same loot in the final version, but assuming it is, I would say actually don't even bother getting the pass perk. You actually don't even need to worry about it. I think its value, if these are the loot tables, has gone down. It used to have like guaranteed reputational loot and stuff like that. Now, not so much. But all right, after completing our normal mode run and we turn in everything we've got, that brings us up to level 16, 580 experience out of the 890 that we need. So like a full run brought us essentially from level 6 to 16. You know, so probably if we did another full run, that would bring us from like 16 to, if I had to guess, little diminishing returns, maybe about like 22-ish, I think would be the ballpark. So like, I don't know, man, like 3 full laboratory runs on normal mode might be enough to get you to level 25. I can't confirm that, but ballpark, that kind of feels like it might be. And also another thing, if you want to hold on to experience, reminder as well, you don't need to turn all of these in at once. I could have actually just held on to everything that we have, waited, and then turned it in at the end, right? Like I did not need to turn in everything right there, right then. I could have held it. I could have hundreds of these cards back in my base. Actually, fun fact, I literally do have hundreds of these cards back in my base from the older updates. And yeah, you can just do it that way. But all right, without further ado, there you have it. What the heck happens in hard mode? The entire staff wears additional protective equipment. Is hard mode still the same? Is hard mode still everybody just has armor protective weapons? Because I feel like that might be it. All right, just in case, we do have a set of this anti-spore armor. I am just curious, you know, do we still have the same like spore protection necessary here? Also, I don't know if we're gonna need armor piercing weapons or anti-spore weapons to fight these guys, but we do have our agility perk, our beloved. Let's select it, let's activate it, and what do we have in here? Okay, I mean, They have a little more health. That's it. But that came from this threat level. We're doing hard mode, and they don't seem much harder at the moment. I am collecting the spore, or accumulating spore, I should say. So I will definitely equip that armor. And I'm actually getting keycard A's from these guys instead of A pluses. So maybe it's a bug in the early access version. I will definitely try to confirm this. Yeah, I mean, I gotta imagine that's just like a minor bug in the early version here that we're playing where they're dropping A cards instead of the A plus cards. But in terms of like the actual zombies themselves, I mean, hard mode doesn't seem too much more difficult yet. Although, I mean, it might literally just maybe be that the only thing harder about hard mode is the bosses, especially the fact that now bosses are required. You know, you can't really skip bosses like you used to be able to. I wonder if maybe that'll be the main differentiator here of hard mode. So why don't we try and speedrun our way over there? But yeah, for now, it literally seems pretty much the same at this point. I mean, same mix of zombies that we saw in normal mode thus far. Yeah, it's gotta, like, it might just be the boss that is like the main differentiator. And all right, we've got the last of those zombies taken down, and we have this doorway awaiting us, and we will see if the boss has at least changed. But all right, as you guys can see in the top left-hand corner, we have activated a reanimator because the hard mode version of this boss, you know, can be on the difficult side. And hopefully we're prepared for it. Although the fact that we have a significantly better weapon now, you know, if it still has, unless it has armor, and then we're kind of like cooked. But so far, no, it appears to just be same anti-spore armor, which for this, you know, purposes of actually completing this boss battle, I do think is a big plus. However, I will say, as soon as, oh goodness, those like attacks start happening, we gotta be careful, especially the parasites, because oh, my armor is not doing good. We gotta take down those parasites. If they reach him, he does like a very big, powerful attack. No. Oh my goodness. Okay, well that also didn't one-shot us. I kind of expected that to one-shot us because he, in the previous hard mode, did have very powerful attacks. For the sake of science, what happens if one does get to him? I do kind of want to see what happens. He released a lot of gas. Okay, he fires those things off. I believe those are more along the one-shot side. What happens if I get hit by that? Okay, it's not a one-shot, but it did a lot of damage. I'm also suffering from a lot of damage. Okay, I've had enough fun. It's time to die, Necrotic Hybrid. Ow. No, please don't let more parasites get to you, dude. Okay, it's time to die. It's time to die. It's time to die. Okay, he's dead. He's dead. So far, it appears mechanic-wise, maybe he just kind of retains some of those like hard mode mechanics, but there you have it. So I suppose hard mode, at least as of right now, in the early version that we are checking out, appears pretty darn similar to normal mode. Obviously, once the full update is out, I'll be sure to confirm that and get back to you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, about that exact topic. But otherwise, I don't really want to continue doing the rest of the sectors because it seems it's just going to be a lot of what you just saw. We already went through the first boss, so, you know, maybe they'll retain some of their mechanics. I mean, ugh. All right. This will be a very hard confirmation because honestly, I don't completely remember the mechanics of the A1 boss because I usually skipped it back in the day. I fought this boss many freaking times. If indeed the boss is still using hard mode mechanics, those wires on the ground will be quite active. Otherwise, they might not be active. And they are actually not active right now. Look at that. So, okay, there's a chance. Oh my goodness. Okay, wait, he just absolutely obliterated me. Never mind. This is definitely still, he's doing hard mode stuff. That was, yeah, okay, never mind. I just got absolutely cooked. This is like a bit of a jump scare here. Okay, you know what? That's fine. That's fine. I didn't even want to clear. You know what? That was for science anyway. I was just kind of shocked by the fact that he just stomped me and killed me instantly because I didn't see the wires on the ground. I kind of forgot they don't activate right away. That's fine, you know, I just died on purpose for the sake of science. But okay, so in hard mode, at least in this early access version of the update that I am playing, the bosses at least continue doing the things that the bosses do. Okay, because that guy one-shot me, and that's something specifically that the Sector A2 boss will do at 75%, 50%, and 25% of his maximum health. I honestly did not realize that he got down to 75% that fast because of just how overpowered that spore rifle is. The anti-spore rifle is just so good for clearing out those 2 sectors. My recommendation is going to literally be just continue clearing out the first 2 sectors. We learned that the past loot isn't that great. Continue clearing out the first 2 sectors, you know, with your anti-spore weapons that you've got stockpiled. Absolutely clear them. You know, hard mode, you can consider it. I would caution against it, perhaps. Although I do actually think the hard mode A1 boss of the Necrotic hybrid also inherently gets a lot easier, because previously you would have to use anti-armor weapons to fight that boss, and you have to worry about recoil, and then you'd have to worry about those parasites reaching him, and then he does his like super powerful attack all over the place. You know, just inherently the anti-spore rifle makes that a lot easier. So in general, even in hard mode, that boss has gotten easier. And also in hard mode, I actually think both of the bosses have gotten easier, at least the A1 and A2 bosses, because again, you don't have to use armor-piercing weapons. You can use anti-spore weapons. And the anti-spore rifle, its fire speed and its damage, mwah. It's so freaking good, man. It's so freaking good. A couple of quick warnings as well for the people. Make sure if you have any ash belays or ash logs, be sure to craft them before the update comes, because the recipe does get more expensive for ash planks, because as a part of the update, you're going to be able to get the raw resources a lot more from the new zones and in bigger quantities, and as a result, it just takes, like, it kind of balances it out, but it does kind of devalue your existing resources if you do have any, and especially if there is literally anything that you have to make out of your pressing machine, make it before the update drops, because the pressing machine now requires 2 items to turn into 1, and if you want to make 1 lead plate, that's going to require 2 lead bars, not to mention the new resource from the Boggy region. What does it take to craft the lead bar, you might ask? Oh, I'm glad you're asking. It takes 16 lead, 32 lead to make 1 lead plate. That is way more expensive than it used to be, so absolutely. You just really want to make sure to use up your raw resources. Use up your raw titanium, use up your raw ash, and definitely anything that you want to press, do it now before. This just required peat to make fuel briquettes. Now it requires peat and ash belays. You know, a couple of other things like that's just something I wanted to call out there as well. Oh, and it's not exactly a recipe, but it does relate to this video since we just did a bunch of the laboratory stuff. You know, you no longer get to use all of your cards on opening crates. And as someone who has a lot of cards stockpiled over the years, that will actually come in perfectly handy for maxing out that season pass as soon as the update drops. These no longer open crates, and actually some of these, especially like the hard mode ones, and even the normal mode ones, right? No, yeah, but the regular, all the boxes, I mean, would give you a chance at getting, you know, like hard mode or armor-piercing weapons, right? Like the Protector over here. And also Seaburn combat armor and just regular hazmat armor. And as we know, those are going to be the new armors from this update. So just in general, if you've got some time to spare and you were thinking about it or putting it off, you know, hitting the laboratory a few times before the update drops to try to get these items from those cards, or even if you have a stockpile of cards like I do, using some of these before the update drops so that you can kind of capitalize and maximize the amount of Seaburn armor, hazmat armor, armor-piercing weapons and stuff that you get before those boxes do get removed. For reference, this is what it used to look like, and here are all of those crate things that I was talking about, and here you could actually turn these guys in, bada boom, bada bing, and collect all of these beautiful neutralizers. And then if we make our way over here to the A+ cards, oh, some beautiful Seaburn combat armor in addition to some more of those armor-piercing weapons. So, yeah, last call if you guys want to open these with your cards instead of saving them up to trade into the new Genesis store for reputation there, now's the time. You know, chop chop. Hurry up, definitely want to do it. But that's our wrap it up for now. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe with that notification bell hit. Appreciate all of y'all checking it out. That's what's our wrapping it up for me for now. Thank you guys a whole ton for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one. See ya.